What is up, guys? Welcome to our latest episode. Some big news to bring to you. First of all, we are going to go through a rebranding. So, we are no longer going to be known as the Sons of Pitches. We are now changing our name to the FootyPod, which is quite exciting. We worked hard to decide on the name and the logo. I hope you guys like it as much as you enjoyed the Sons of Pitches. While that is indeed an innovative and fun name, we've decided to take things a bit more seriously now. And that is why we have gone with the Footy Pod. And as I am going to start this latest episode, let me first introduce our guests. We have, first of all, two of the biggest La Liga fans I know. We have Tridib, who is a Real Madrid fan, and Abhigyan, who is, of course, a Barcelona fan. And both of them have had, I think they have mixed feelings regarding the weekend. Is that fair to say, Tridib?
Well, it's not mixed. It's so extremely negative, and it was a terrible game week. And yeah, firstly, I just want to comment on the name. I think it's a more mature take on what we're doing. And yeah, Sons of Pitches. While it was fun, Footy Pod just sounds like the way we want to go. But yeah, back to this game week, man. This was frustrating, and I think I'm gradually reaching the realm of becoming one of those really extremist football fans I think they're called ultras. I think I'm becoming one of those. I every time I watch Real Madrid play, I go to sleep in this really angry, pissed off mood, and I'm just not happy with what I'm watching. And yeah, it was the same last night. The best case scenario for us this game week was that Atletico Barca draw, and then we beat Sevilla. And well, the first part came true, and then the second part was coming true. But I think there was a pretty controversial decision that went against us. And I don't really like to talk about referees a lot during the tactical analysis and stuff, but this was a big decision, and I'm sure we'll get to that.
Okay, that's all well and good. Abhigyan, I'm going to go to you now. You had a big game this week against, of course, the table toppers, Atletico Madrid. You had a draw, a 0-0 draw. There were a few chances for both teams. I thought Atletico, of course, they pressed really well, and they created a lot of chances. But you yourself, of course, Messi had that amazing run, which Yano Black, like, he just pulled off an amazing save. So what are your thoughts about this game? How are you feeling?
Not just this game, but if you look at this game week, it's been a frustrating one for either of the teams, who have been bummed out by the probable outcomes that could have been. Like for us, Barca fans, like as we saw Madrid do. So for us, a win against Atletico was a must to, have our hands on the title, but we again failed on that. And the same case for Madrid fans, as you can see, we had a draw, ideal situation for them to go up on top, but again, they just had a bad luck. So, and as far as the game against Atletico is concerned, I guess a few, like substitutions had cost us. Like as we saw, Busquets leaving out so early was really a game changer for Atletico. Plus, I guess one of the decisions made by Koeman was to play Elias Moriba instead of Busquets, which most of the Barca fans don't agree with, because if you look at last season's game against Atletico Madrid, where Puig was deployed, he ended up winning the man of the match. And that guy, he actually knows how to break a tough defense, right? But Elias, he's just 18. This is his debut season. He doesn't really have that experience to play against such teams against Atletico who like, have a really defensive approach and counter as, given the opportunity. So I guess that decision did cost us all in all. Other than that, it was a good game. But again, Dembele, I really don't know what to I don't know where to start with that guy. That was one clear header. He just, I don't know, just the ball went up stadium, and it's just really disheartening. So yeah, it's just something I've gotten used to it for the past 2 seasons now. So it's not really a surprise for me, but yeah, I get this frustration.
Right. So yeah, it was a very frustrating result for Barca fans. I can imagine, Diego Simeone has never won at the Camp Nou. So you guys were clearly the bigger favorites heading into this encounter. And ultimately, you could not find the winning goal. Neither team could. And, it is what it is. So, yeah, let's now I'll go to Tridib. Tridib, you are facing a Sevilla, a team which are currently fourth in the La Liga. They were in the title race. Now I don't think they are so much, but they played well. They scored 2 goals against you. One of which, of course, as you mentioned, was controversial. And I guess one thing was that Hazard ultimately was an unlikely savior for you in this La Liga title race after all the scrutiny he has faced this last week after the Champions League. So, what are your thoughts on that? And do you see yourselves, potentially winning, given that you have a few uneasy fixtures, difficult fixtures remaining?
Well, firstly, it turns out that the Hazard goal was actually given to Diego Carlos, so it was an own goal. So I think it was first given to Diego Carlos, then it was shifted to Hazard, and then finally it was shifted to Diego Carlos. But yeah, since this game was tough, man. It was intense. They had a lot of the ball. It was difficult for us, and the first half they were a lot better. They had a lot of the ball. They didn't. I don't think they had a lot of chances. I think their goal came from some fortune. It was rehearsed. Marcelo and Odriozola didn't do well to defend that right hand side, and Rakitic won the header, and then Fernando did well to like control the ball and put it in. So it was like their first goal had a bit of luck to it, but it was also rehearsed, right? So let's give them the benefit of the doubt. The first half they were better. The second half we did come out with a lot more hunger and verve, and so that paid off. Like I think uh, the goal that we scored, I think it was coming. The Cruz's pass and Asensio's finish was really good. Like he put it into like, I think he had like little margin for error, and he put that in, and that was a really good goal, especially right after coming on. But I think we need to talk about that decision, man. That decision in this context, in this league, like the race is heating up, and at this time, that decision was massive, and I don't think we can underestimate that. So for for whoever didn't watch the game last night, it was Sevilla had a corner, and one of their players went up for the ball along with Militao, and then Militao's got his back to where the ball's coming from, so he has no idea where it's coming from, and then the ball hits his shoulder, and then it goes on to hit his hand, right? And it's clear that that's not a penalty, right? Like Abhigan might argue otherwise, but it like people might say his hand was outstretched and whatever, but he's got his back to the ball. Okay, he doesn't know where it's coming from. The ball hits his shoulder and then goes on to hit the hand. It's not a handball. All right. And then it hits and then it comes off him, and then Vinicius gets on the ball, and then he passes it to Benzema. And I don't know what Sevilla's defense was doing there. Like they were all up for the corner, and then Benzema just runs through, and then he rounds up Yassine Bono, the Sevilla goalkeeper, and Yassine Bono brings him down, right? And that was a clear penalty. But the point of doubt was whether the Sevilla penalty was valid or not, because if it wasn't a Sevilla penalty, it would be a Real Madrid penalty, right? So it was between both. And in the context of this La Liga game, that decision is massive, especially with 3 games to go. It's massive. We cannot underestimate it. And so ultimately, the referee did go with the Sevilla penalty. Zidane, meanwhile, Zidane never talks about referees, but he came out after the game and he was like, you know what, a lot of what the referee said today to me about that decision didn't make sense, and I didn't really understand it. So, and it was, yeah, I think a lot of us agree that it probably should have been a Real Madrid penalty. I think if we scored that penalty, we go on to win, and I think we go on to top the game, top the table. Uh, but yeah, it was sad. Rakitic ended up scoring that penalty. I just want to take us a quick side and talk about like these controversial decisions that are being made. A lot of the rhetoric going into these games where there are these sort of decisions is that you have your rival clubs who are supporting the other team you're facing. And so once there is a wrong decision, the discourse automatically becomes that of, you know what, let's go back to previous games and let's look at decisions like this, which were given and which weren't given. And they sort of highlight the inconsistency, which is valid, like it's valid, but I think it sort of takes away from the merit of that decision itself. Like in the moment, that decision should have been a penalty, and a lot of people will go back and they'll be like, you know what? our club was given this decision against us, and that wasn't a penalty. And they'll sort of strive to bring up examples from the past that sort of went against the norm. And it's all well and good to do that, but it just takes away from the merit of what's happening right now, and it's not fair. And yeah, I wasn't happy with what happened yesterday. I think we did really well to come back. There was a lot of luck about our second goal. Cruz's effort deflects off and ends up in the goal. I think there's a lot of luck about that. And I just didn't see any other form of attacking outlet that we had. There wasn't any clear-cut opportunity except for the Vinicius chance, which he should have put in. But yeah, we got lucky at the end, and we were lucky to skip with the draw. But we should have won it. That's my point.
Yep, absolutely. I did see a bit of that Zidane interview after the game where he did express that he needs some re-explanation regarding the handball rule. It's clearly frustrating for many of the Madrid ultras out there. I'm going to go to Abhigyan now. Abhigyan, do you think he's just making excuses as a Madrid fan, or is there some truth in the matter to what he's saying? I know you're going to have a biased view, but I still want to hear it.
Excuses, man, excuses right from the beginning. That's it's all they got, all the time. Like last season, man. Like the last 10 games, or you can just see the referee decisions that were given, for them. Okay, they're all completely biased towards
Yeah, but
Madrid.
can I just button like those last few games? Like I understand from your point of view that you're staying up till 1 a.m. to watch like these 90 minutes games where it's like 0-0 to the like 85th minute and then we get a penalty. Like I understand that and I understand your frustration completely. Like I would be in the same position you're in right now and I'd be complaining too. But if you evaluate penalties on their merit, those are clear penalties. And we can reel back
Not
the
really.
highlights. We can review the highlights. They're
Not
all
really.
black.
Just you can see another set of excuses coming up right now. Okay, they just need and this set of excuses. At this time when the excuses have become old, it's the same old excuses they just keep bringing up again and again. But yeah, as he's been talking about this referee decisions, there have been plenty of refereeing decisions that have gone against us. So, and not just us, there have been other La Liga games too. Most of us are mainly focused on watching the big games like Barca's games, Atletico's games, Real Madrid's game. We don't really like check out on the other games that have like really wrong refereeing being done. So there are plenty, like you can see, have a look at Premier League also. There are like so many wrong decisions given. It's the same year, just the same year. So and yeah, we obviously take an opportunity to have a dig at each other. So I guess the fights are mainly due to that. But yeah, the decisions need to be improved on. And with VAR, we thought the decisions could have been improved, but it's just got all the more worse.
Also, I think that Spanish refereeing is a lot better than English refereeing. Like English referees are really bad, and Spanish referees are on a better level. But there are these like yesterday's decision was massive, man. It was a Sevilla penalty or a Real Madrid penalty with whichever team scored, they'd go a goal up and they'd essentially go on to win the game. But yesterday's decision was massive, and it was a bad scenario for the referee to make a mistake in.
Right. No, I completely sympathize with you guys. I think we can all agree on one thing, and that is Premier League refereeing is ultimate trash. I mean, that is why none of the English referees get called for all these big international tournaments. Um, so yeah, I mean, we can all agree on that. But I think let's move on from the weekend to what is next for the La Liga top teams. So I have the fixtures in front of me, the remaining fixtures. I'm going to start with Atletico so that both of you can later on talk about your teams. But looking at Atletico's fixtures, they have games remaining against Real Sociedad, who they play next at home, Real and Osasuna, and I'm not quite sure who the last game is. I think it's Elche. I'm not sure.
I think it's Valladolid.
Oh, Valladolid. My bad. I'm not familiar with the bottom of the table logos, but it is looking like their next game, Atletico's next game, is an opportunity for them to slip up against Real Sociedad. They have some good players like Oyarzabal and David Silva, all those people. What do you think? Do you think it's possible for them? I mean, it is obviously possible. They're not playing very well, but if that, do you think that their next game is their best chance for them to slip up?
Yeah, definitely. I think Real Sociedad are fifth right now, and they're playing pretty well this season. I don't think they let in a lot of goals, and that's Atletico's main point of concern is that they struggle to score goals sometimes. So for me, if Atletico end up winning against Real Sociedad, they win the league. Because Osasuna Valladolid, I don't think they have enough to stop Atletico. All we need is for Atletico to draw a game and the race is back on. Real Sociedad is the best chance for that to happen. If it doesn't, I have my doubts about whether Osasuna and Valladolid can.
Right. Now, Bigan, what do you think?
Well, firstly, this particular season, this has been a really wild one. I mean, the three games to go for each team, and we still can't decide on a winner. So, until the very end, until the very last game, we can't really decide on who's going to be the winner. It's just either of the fan bases have to hope, either of the teams slip out and they turn out to be lucky. But yeah, Atletico's next game would be the defining factor. If they can overcome Sociedad, I don't think so. The other two teams are going to be a problem for them because it's now or never for Atletico. The last one in 2014, so I guess they'll be really pumped up to win this one. If they let this go, this would be like a really bad bottle. Like not expected at this level. They had almost 17-point lead. From that to they've come to this. Just a 2-point lead. So they really need to win this if they won the league. But yeah, if they slip up, it's an advantage for Madrid and not us. Like even if we win remaining 3 games and so do Madrid, so it's just falls in the hands of Real Madrid. So for us, both the teams need to mess up, both Atletico and Real Madrid. But for as Madrid's concerned, just one slip from Atletico just hands them over the title. So they're going to be good.
Right. And that actually really quantifies the importance of that last-minute goal we saw yesterday, scored by, I don't know,
Absolutely.
Diego Carlos or Eden Hazard.
Yeah.
One football says it's Eden Hazard. I'm going to go with that because I like that better.
Yeah. So did
I like,
ESPN.
Yep, I
So
like
did
that
ESPN.
better. Yep.
Yeah.
So
I checked on the board
yeah,
and it was
go ahead.
a Diego Carlos goal. But yeah, go ahead.
Now, I was just going to say that, if this goal ultimately decides the title for Real Madrid, I wonder what the Spanish media are going to say about Eden Hazard, although that was a completely accidental goal. It is still funny. But what do you think of a Real Valladolid? Do they have a chance of staying up? If that is the case, then do you think they will be a tough fixture for Atletico as well because they have a lot to fight for?
Oh yeah, that's a great point, man. Valladolid is just 1 point above relegation. But I do think that the relegation battle for them could be decided by then. If it is, I think Atletico's a shoe in for that game. If it's not, Valladolid have everything to fight for. And its owner is Ronaldo, by the way, Ronaldo Nazario, and I'm sure Florentino will shoot him a call and be like, you know what, pump your players up for this one. It's important. So yeah. But let's talk about Barca's fixtures for a moment, man. Even they've got a couple of banana skins in there. I think they go to Levante next, and that's tough. Levante have taken. I think Levante have beaten Atletico twice out of the 3 times they faced Atletico this season. So Levante is tough. Uh, I would still give Barca the benefit of the doubt, just because I don't think Levante's form like has been that good lately. I'd still give Barca the doubt, but Levante is a potential place for Barca to slip up. They go to Celta after that. Celta, I remember last season. Abhigan, do you remember this Celta, that Iago Aspas free kick, and they went on to slip points
Yeah,
and
I do.
hand.
It was just a disaster.
Yeah. That was bad. I remember celebrating when that Aspas free kick went in. I remember like jumping up and like everyone just staring at me. Everyone sitting around me, they were just like staring at me, like, "What are you doing?" Like, "Yeah, go Aspas." Anyway, yeah, Celta's tough as well.
Yeah.
So, Abhigan, what do you have to say?
The Barca's last 3 fixtures aren't as tough as the fixtures that lay ahead for Madrid. They play Granada and they play Granada Bilbao. Now, these are going to be the two defining fixtures for Madrid. But let's talk about Barca first. We tend to play better when we are not under pressure, which is not really a good thing. But now that we don't really have much of a title hope, I think so Levante shouldn't be a problem for us because this season has been the biggest example that every time we had the opportunity, that is basically having a pressure of going up, we have succumbed to that and we have just lost or just given up. We have had 4 opportunities to go up on top and we have missed out on all 4 of them. So even if we win the league this season, we just don't deserve it. Even though, yeah, we came back from like the starting of the season, we were almost as down below as 13th. From there, coming up all the way here, it's still a big deal. But even if we end up winning the league, I wouldn't say it's a well-deserved win. So yeah, like the remaining three games aren't really as tough as we would expect. So I just hope, like for us, even if we have a last chance at the title, it's a must win. All three of them are a must win.
So Abhigan, I'm
Yeah,
just looking at the table here, and you're 2 points behind Atletico. So
yeah,
you actually need them to, because I doubt they're going to lose, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
If they draw, you're going to actually need them to like drop points again, right? Just because they have the better
Yeah.
head-to-head record.
Not just that, if they draw, we give the advantage to Real Madrid because I guess Real Madrid have a better head-to-head compared to Atletico Madrid, I guess.
Yeah.
So if Atletico draw, if they slip, like not even talking about a loss, but just if it's like a draw, it's a huge advantage for Real Madrid. And with three game weeks, I don't think so. Madrid's gonna let this slip anymore. So yeah,
Well, that's what you said before the Sevilla game, and I told you that we were going to find a way to goof it up, and we did.
yeah. Like
Our next fixtures are tough. We have Granada away. Granada beat Barca, but that's not a big deal.
no, the
Uh,
thing is about like Granada may not be a big deal, but it's Atletico Bilbao that you need to worry about because they have managed to beat Barca, they have managed to beat Atletico Madrid and Sevilla. So that's one team you really need to worry about.
no,
So,
I meant it in the sense that beating Barca is not a big deal, but
uh,
yeah,
all
yeah,
right, all right. You can take
Granada
your
is
takes
tough,
right now.
but yeah, I agree. Bilbao is the one. Even
Yeah,
Villarreal is good in their own right. Like they're in the
yeah,
Europa League final. Let's give them some
yeah,
respect.
absolutely.
And but yeah, it's tough, man. Our last three games are difficult. Bilbao is in their element. Iñaki, did you know Iñaki Williams has played every La
Yeah,
Liga match for
yeah,
5 years? That's
never
in-
missed a game.
yeah, that's insane. Hazard should really take a page out of that book, man.
And he's been extremely crucial for Bilbao this season. He helped Bilbao secure their Super Copa title at the 93rd minute, I presume, if I'm not wrong.
Against
Uh,
you.
yeah, against us, that too. And against Sevilla also, I guess he ended up getting a last minute winner, which was really crucial. That really, you know, gives bumped out Sevilla from the title race because other than that, they were just a point behind us and Madrid. And against Atletico, he put up Atletico also put up a really good performance. So yeah, that's the play you need to look out for in that team. Plus, the way the team plays is basically it frustrates the opponent. Like they'll just continuously foul you. I wouldn't say foul, but they just bring up a really aggressive play right from the very beginning, and they end up really frustrating you though. And given Barca, who's faced them 4 times this season, we already know how frustrating they can get. So yeah,
I agree with that. They're a tough team to play. They're a scrappy team to play. I think they have that guy Raul Garcia, no, who is
yeah,
extremely like aggressive and scrappy, and he's like always fouling, and he's in your face all the time, and he's like that irritating team that every league has. I think that would be Burnley in the Premier League, possibly. I don't think there is a Bilbao representative in the Premier League though. It's tough to beat them. It's difficult. So yeah, it's difficult. That game is tough, and I hope we do well.
Right. No, I don't think Burnley is the Bilbao of the Premier League. I think Bilbao are better than that. I would say they're probably something like, I don't know, a team on the up. But I get what you mean. They have the aggressiveness of some of these lower table teams that ultimately frustrate many of the top teams. But it is heating up. It is definitely looking like a very interesting title race, in my opinion. I guess Madrid have the bulk of the tougher fixtures, given that they play Villarreal and Bilbao. Although the Villarreal game is at the end, so by then maybe the title could be a title decider, could not be. Who knows? Barca, I think on paper, have the slightly easier games, given that they travel Levante, play Celta at home. So I think at the home advantage, whatever it is, with no fans, it's still an advantage. And also you have Ibar, I think, at the end away, which obviously Messi is called Ibar man, so I don't think that should be too much of an issue. Although I don't think that's a valid statement. But yeah, it's
Oh, dude,
obviously
by the way, I just looked at the table. Ibar is just 2 points off from escaping relegation. So that battle is really heating up. So they might have something to fight for. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I doubt anything.
Yep, yep. No, the La Liga relegation battle has actually been quite. I saw a post about it. It was quite interesting to see how many teams are, in that zone. But
Yeah.
yeah, it is definitely heating up to be a interesting title race. So I'm going to ask you guys one last thing about the La Liga part of our episode. Do you see yourselves, your respective teams winning the La Liga? Like Tridib, do you see Madrid pulling it off? Or Abhigyan, I know you have a bit of an outside chance, but what do you think? What do you think is going to happen?
I think I think we somehow just scrapped through the last three games. I think we win them. The Bilbao game will probably be tough. I think that'll probably be like a 1-0 or something. But I think we just scrapped through. But if, like I said, if Atletico don't drop points against Sociedad, I doubt they drop points anymore. Also, from Barca point of view, if Atletico don't drop, if they, because I doubt they're going to lose any of their last three games. Okay, their only possibility is to lose against Sociedad, but I doubt it. So for Barca, they would have to like draw twice for Barca to win, and then expect us to drop. So it's tough for Barca. It's a little bit, but then again, like our Atletico and like Madrid's home form has not been good, and yeah, they could always capitalize on that. So if I was a Barca fan, I'd have my eyes peeled as well. I think all of us have a stake to go for.
Abhigyan, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, for us, as a fan, I would obviously want our team to win, but I don't really see much of chances for us. Like the title is not in our hands anymore. For us to win, it's completely on the other two, completely on the other two Madrids to mess up. If the other two Madrids somehow mess up, that's only way we can win the league. So as of now, we are out of the title race. It's no longer in our hands. We have given up on the opportunity we've had, and it's only us who are to blame for. So yeah, I would really hope for a win, but I don't really see it happening unless other teams do mess up. That is, but again, I don't see that happening either. So yeah,
Yeah, if Sevilla did lose to Real Madrid, this would be the first time after a very long time Atletico would
yeah,
not finish the game week on top of the table. But they're still there, and who's to say they won't slip up? We've doubt people have doubted them ever since they had that bad run of form, but they've somehow still hung on to that top spot. But who's to say they won't slip up? But it is probably, in my opinion at least, the most interesting title race that we've had all season. And speaking of interesting title races, let us move on to some of the other leagues. We have Liga, which never is quite surprising. I know people are calling it a farmers league, this and that, but you cannot deny that they do produce some very exciting and talented players like Kylian Mbappe and others as well. Hazard, who did play for Lille, and his former side Lille are actually on the verge of winning the title in France. What do you guys think about that? Do you think it's a turning point in the French league, or is it just a one-off?
Abhiyan, go for it. You're dying to say things.
well, to start with, it's called League One Uber Eats. So I don't really have like I don't know how people have any expectations from the league anyway. But yeah, PSG, given the amount they have spent on the team and what the squad they have on paper, like, they should have won this league, without any doubts. The other teams, they barely invested 30 to 40 million maybe in the past 2 to 3 seasons, and they're giving PSG a hard time. So it's really an embarrassment with Neymar and Kylian Mbappe with your team. Yeah, it's really not expected. I mean, yeah, they did have a good run in the Champions League, but again, just look at where they come from. League One, Uber Eats. So I don't really have much hopes
Yeah,
with that team.
that's that's a good point. The Uber Eats part, it just discounts the value of the league so much, man. Like, why would you name your league Uber Eats? That's embarrassing. But yeah, it's embarrassing for PSG. I think this was the one trophy they were expected to win and that they should have won. They didn't do too well in the Champions League. They were pretty outclassed by Man City. So no luck on that front. They should have won the Liga, but I think it's out of their hands now. They're 3 points behind with 2 games to go. I doubt they make it. And Pochettino must be really feeling the pressure now, man. I know he's only
Yeah.
played here for a little less than a season, but he's got to be feeling the pressure.
100% agree with that. Obviously, Pochettino's PSG did have some good performances. They beat Barcelona, of course, in the Champions League, and they've shown that they can play. But ultimately, I don't know. They've I don't know what's happened to them. I think Lille have just been that good this season. I think their leading striker is, of course, Burak Yilmaz, who's a 35-year-old free transfer. Who would have thought with the money they got from selling Nicola Pepe to Arsenal for 75 million and Osimhen to Napoli for around the same amount, they would take a free transfer and now they would challenge for the title. It's a testament to like what good business can do in football. So I think some of the bigger teams need to take notes on that. Anyway, moving on, we have another interesting situation in Syria, where I guess Juventus are, as it stands, going to play in the Europa League next season. That's quite a shocking thing as well. Ronaldo in the Europa League. What do you guys think?
It's a tough set of fixtures for Juventus. Like still now, like they still have Inter Milan to face. So on the top of the who've already won the league. So that be the deciding factor for Juventus at the end of the season. But there's a lot of people actually to believe that given that Inter Milan have already secured the title, they might take it easy against Juventus. But I don't know, man. If for Conte, it should be a statement, to send one of the most dominant forces in the league to Europa League. That would be a big statement. If he could pull off a win against Juventus, it would be a huge statement. And with that, but if you look at AC Milan, Atalanta, and they're almost on level points. So with 3 game weeks to go, it's really a tough decision to make. But yeah, it's heating up. So, but yeah, as of now, it's Juventus who might play in the Europa League. If that happens, I don't know how much Ronaldo is going to stay in that team. So let's see what happens next.
Yeah, the decline of that team has been massive. Like they from getting Ronaldo to playing in the Europa League, I can't even imagine what it must feel like for them. So it's terrible. AC Milan are doing well. Atalanta are doing well. I heard Atalanta's manager is linked with the Spurs job, which is good. He's a really attacking manager, and it might fit their style of play. But I'm happy for Inter Milan, man. I think the likes of Christian Eriksen, Alexis Sanchez, they've had tough times in the past few years. So it's
Romelu Lukaku, you can't miss out that guy.
Romelu Lukaku, right. Even the likes of Nicolo Barella, I think he's a really up and comer. And yeah, these are players who've had like tough times, and they've sort of been under the radar for a while. And I'm happy that they're doing well and that they go on to achieve more in the coming years.
Absolutely agree with that. It's actually a whole host of Manchester United so-called rejects who have won the title with Inter Milan. So Romelu Lukaku, Ashley Young, Darmian, even Alexis Sanchez. They are celebrating a league win. And speaking of Manchester United, of course, we are joined rather by Zohair, who has decided to make an appearance. Zohair, say hi.
Hey guys, thanks for introducing me, Sato.
Introducing you in the sense that all Man U rejects are going on to do well. That's quite the introduction, man. Good job, Sato.
Hey, you know what? My team sold Ronaldo and still competed in the Champions League for a considerable amount of time. It's not like we bought Ronaldo and then proceeded to contend for the Europa League spot. So I'm doing good.
Yeah,
you contended for the Europa League spots. I mean, you're in the final of the Europa League.
After getting knocked out from the Champions League, so give it some context. It's not like we dropped to top 4 position.
You're not helping yourself, man. You got eliminated because of a loss against Istanbul Başakşehir, who are like 15th in the Turkish league or something like that. Anyway,
look, I'm not claiming that United is like. I'm not claiming that we're kings of consistency, because if we were and we consistently displayed our best form, I'm pretty sure we'd be closer to Manchester City. And I don't know. Maybe we would have made it out of the group stage in the Champions League. I can't comment on the knockouts, but yeah, I think we would have made it out given our performances against PSG on both legs and our first leg performance against RB Leipzig, where we beat them 5-1. But that being said, like United being like erratic has been a problem that we've dealt with for like ages. We not only under Ole, like Ole's reduced it in my opinion. Against Mourinho, we lost to the likes of Brighton and then went down 2-0 against Manchester City and then came back 3-2 in the second half. So that inconsistency has just been there ever since Ferguson left. But Ole's managed to mitigate it and bring it down to a large extent, and I'm pretty happy with that.
Yep. No, I mean, there's clearly some amount of progress in Manchester United. It aches me to say that as a Liverpool fan, but it is ultimately quite good progress Ole has done, regardless of what you say. I guess they have the least number of losses now in the league after Man City dropped points against Chelsea. So there is some progress, and hopefully it can translate to a more vigorous title challenge next season. But anyway, moving on from that, we have a few interesting fixtures coming up in a lot of leagues. I think Liverpool play Man United on Thursday. Some crucial games in La Liga as well, like Real Sociedad versus Atletico, where both these gentlemen with me, Tridib and Abhigyan, will be watching. And of course, there's always going to be something or the other to look forward to, especially the Champions League and FA Cup finals and other competitions. But yeah, it has been an interesting discussion regarding what's happening in football, in particular the La Liga. So on that note, I would like to thank you guys for joining us on the FootyPod. I'm going to keep saying that name so that it's stuck in your head. So thank you all for joining, and please like, comment, and subscribe so that we can continue producing this quality content for you guys. So thank you so much for joining, and yeah, say bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.